Okay, so what is it that makes a book, not just popular, but really impactful? Like the kind of story that sparks conversations way beyond the actual pages and really sticks with you. Well, today we're diving deep into exactly that kind of phenomenon in contemporary literature. We're talking about Colleen Hoover's 2016 novel, It Ends With Us. And this book, it hasn't just sold millions, right? It's really earned its place as one of the most emotionally gripping reads in recent years. It's captivated so many people and started some really, really important discussions. So our mission here, what we want to do is really unpack the layers of this book. We want to understand that deep emotional resonance it has and figure out why it's become such a significant piece, in contemporary romance, but also domestic fiction. We'll be looking closely at its big themes. Love, obviously, but also domestic abuse, family, self-worth, and the incredibly hard journey of breaking cycles.
And yeah, before we get any further into it, I think it's really crucial we mention the trigger warnings up front. Just so you know, if you're listening, this book deals very directly with physical and emotional abuse and also childhood trauma. Understanding these parts isn't just like appreciating the plot. It's absolutely key to getting the book's depth, its honesty, and its social impact. It really doesn't pull any punches.
No, it really doesn't. Absolutely. So, okay, let's give you a quick spoiler-free overview just to set the scene. We meet Lily Bloom. She's ambitious, originally from Maine, and she moves to Boston. She's got this clear goal, opening her own flower shop, her dream job. Pretty soon after moving, she bumps into Ryle Kincaid. He's a neurosurgeon, very handsome, assertive, and the chemistry, it's instant, undeniable. But Ryle has his own set of rules, one big one being a strict no relationships thing. So as they get closer, Lily starts uncovering, well, bits and pieces of Ryle's past,
Yeah.
and that kind of forces her to confront parts of her own past, too. Things get even more complex when Atlas Corrigan reappears. He's someone from her childhood, and his return really forces her to face some painful truths she's maybe tried to bury.
And what's so interesting, I think, is how it ends with us positions itself as, well, much more than just a love story, right? It's a narrative that really digs deep into the whole idea of unconditional love, and it explores that incredibly painful choice. Do you stay because of love, or do you find the strength to leave for your own self-respect, for your safety? Even the title, It Ends With Us, it's not just clever marketing. It points directly to that central message, that really profound theme of the book. The absolute need to stop these cycles of trauma, whether they're generational or within a relationship.
Okay, let's really unpack this core impact then. The book somehow manages to be both uh, just emotionally devastating and yet also profoundly empowering. It's quite a balance when we talk about it going beyond typical romance to become more of a survival story. What really makes it earn that label for you? I mean, beyond just showing tough situations.
That's a really good question because you're right. It's not just what she goes through, but how Hoover tells the story. What's fascinating, I think, is the structure, the use of that dual timeline. You have Lily's present-day struggles with Ryle playing out, but then it's contrasted with her old diary entries, right? About
Yeah.
Atlas from her teenage
Yes,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this mirroring, this past-present thing, it really deepens our understanding of why she makes certain choices or struggles with them. It shows you the roots of her current situation, the echoes of past trauma. So her survival feels less like overcoming one specific bad thing and more about breaking these really deep-seated, almost generational patterns. It's actually a very smart way to show how cyclical abuse can be and just how incredibly hard it is to break free.
So bringing our discussion back to that core impact, it really is a novel that manages this tightrope walk, doesn't it? Emotionally devastating, but somehow ultimately empowering. And like the final verdict says, it feels like a genuine 9/10 read that really does transcend the typical romance genre. It becomes less about just finding love and more, like you said, a survival story for the reader too, in a
Yeah.
way.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, think about one of the most powerful quotes from the book. It stops here. With me and you. It ends with us.
Hmm.
That line just, it really encapsulates that whole message, doesn't it? Breaking cycles, making those incredibly difficult choices. And it resonates beyond just Lily and Ryle. It feels like a universal human challenge, things we might face in our own families, relationships, maybe even just personal habits we need to break.
And then there's that other quote that just hits you right in the gut. Just because someone hurts you doesn't mean you can simply stop loving them. It's not a person's actions that hurt the most. It's the love. Wow. I mean, when you really sit with that line, you see the immense complexity Hoover is showing us. It makes you grapple with why leaving toxic situations is just so incredibly hard, right? Especially when love, or something that feels like love, is still mixed up in it all. Some people might find that idea difficult, maybe even controversial. How does Hoover manage to portray that complexity, that struggle, without making it seem like she's, condoning the abuse?
Yeah, and that's such a crucial distinction to make. Because what Hoover does so well, I think, is she avoids easy answers. She doesn't justify the abuse itself, not at all. Instead, she just meticulously builds this picture of Lily's internal conflict. We see the good moments with Ryle, we understand their history, we see the love that is genuinely there, but it's shown right alongside the escalating violence, the patterns. So the book isn't saying, oh, it's okay to stay, not even close. It's saying, look, this is the excruciating reality for so many people, and by showing us Lily's really agonizing journey, first to recognize the pattern and then to find the strength to break it, it actually highlights the immense courage it takes. The courage needed to choose your own self-worth over this incredibly complex, painful kind of love. It's really about building empathy for the victim's dilemma, not endorsing the situation itself. Which kind of brings up a bigger question, maybe for all of us listening. We know it ends with us drew on Colleen Hoover's own family experiences. She described it as needing to be painfully honest, deeply human, and important. So it makes you wonder, right?
In what ways do these stories, the ones rooted in real personal experience, especially when they tackle tough themes like trauma and love, how do they contribute to wider social conversations? How do they maybe help us understand these difficult real-world dilemmas, perhaps even things happening in our own lives or to people we know?
Yeah, that's a really powerful thought to end on. So, as you reflect on Lily's journey, and it really does showcase incredible emotional strength, maybe consider how facing those painful truths, how that can ultimately lead to real personal growth and healing. Not just for characters in a book, but maybe for us too, in the stories we live and encounter every day.